German nouns function. They're really different from English nouns because German nouns have a gender. So it's a grammatical gender and you have to know it to speak grammatically correct language. If you don't know the gender of the noun, all grammar that you learn cannot be used, basically. Okay, so there are three genders: masculine gender, feminine gender, and neutral gender, and plural of the nouns, which is the same for all of them. So, for example, der Tisch, which would mean table, and der Vater, which would mean a father. So, sometimes it's kind of logical because the real gender, is the same as the grammatical one. So, der Vater. Father is masculine generally in all sense, but for example in some languages this gender may not be the same. So in German language, Tisch is masculine. Why? Because. Okay, so you just remember that it's der Tisch. Also, for example, der Stuhl, which would mean chair. For example, in my native language, in Serbian language, chair is feminine. Okay, but here it's masculine, so you have to memorize it. There are certain rules, but they cannot be applied everywhere. There are a lot of exceptions. So basically, it's the best to memorize it, and you will see at the beginning it's very difficult, but as the time, passes away, it gets easier. Feminine would be like die Mutter, which would mean mother. Here it's also kind of logical. And then we have, for example, die Lampe, which would mean the lamp. So usually, nouns that end in E are feminine. But as I said, there are a lot of exceptions. For example, one very important and basic noun name would be der Name. And as you can see, it does end in E, but still it's masculine one. But anyway, it can help. This rule can help. So most nouns that end in E are feminine nouns, okay? Then neutral. Neutral would be, for example, das Kind, okay, like a child. Child, das Kind, for example. And what is important here and what mistakes are made? So plural is always die. Okay, this is die. So, for example, die Tische, like tables. Die Stühle, chairs. Die Lampen, lamps. Die Kinder, okay, children. So, whatever gender they have in singular form, you will always put the article die, okay, in front of the plural nouns, which is kind of good, right? However, the difficult thing is that you also have to memorize the plural. So there are also certain rules. For example, if the noun ends in E, you would add N for plural forms. And if it has the vowel, you'll usually put the umlaut, 2 dots, and add E, okay, and something like that. But still, there are a lot of exceptions and other things. But, the focus of what I want to say now is the articles, okay? So die, it's for plural. And as you notice, die is also for feminine nouns. So how will you know? Well, first of all, because of the verbs, okay? So how will you know if the noun is feminine or plural? Well, first of all, because of the verb. What do I mean? Well, for example, die Mutter, die Mutter ist hier. So ist is the verb for third person singular. And you know that the noun is singular. And for example, let's see this, das Kind ist hier. Okay, the child is here, or die Kinder sind hier. Okay, so you see the verb shows you that, and also, of course, always the context. And when you talk, it's kind of easier because you would know what you want to say. But if you're not sure, the best way is to look at a verb. Okay, and another thing. And another thing, this is definite article. Okay, like in English, the. Okay, so der, die, das, and die. So it's usually how, the dictionaries, for example, refer to the nouns. If you open the dictionary or search the verb, the noun online, you will find it, this article, definite article, next to the noun, and it's the best way to learn it with definite article. I will show now indefinite article in German, which would be the same as a or n in English. So for masculine, it would be ein. Okay, so it would be, for example, ein Tisch. Feminine would be eine. Okay, eine Lampe. Neutral would be ein Kind. And plural is no article, the same as in English. So we would just say, okay, let me type like this. Plural would be Kinder, just Kinder. Okay, no article. You see, masculine and neutral indefinite article is the same, and that's why, dictionaries and generally when you learn using definite article, because it's you cannot know in this way if you use indefinite what is what, like is it masculine, is it neutral. So that is why. But of course, when it comes to using the nouns, you would use definite article for something that you definitely know. Like, I'm showing that to the Tisch and I say, okay, der Tisch ist hier. Okay, but for example, ich habe einen Tisch, or ein Tisch ist hier. Okay, I mean one of many. So basically the use is the same, but that's how you learn it.